If you're following me on algebraclass.com, this is our last example for simplifying algebraic expressions. I also want to point out that this problem is a little bit different than example 3 in that I'm using a negative right here, or a -3 instead of a +3, because this can be very tricky when using the distributive property. So pay close attention as we go through this problem. So whenever we simplify algebraic expressions that contain parentheses, we need to use the distributive property to get rid of those parentheses. That is our first job before we start looking for like terms. So I have actually 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to start with my first set of parentheses, and I need to distribute the 2 throughout the parentheses in order to get rid of the parentheses. So that means I'm going to do 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 2 times 4, which is 8. Now, I do have one more set of parentheses, and that means that I need to distribute -3. Notice that I circled here the -3, because when we have a minus sign here in front of the number that we need to distribute, we actually need to distribute a negative. Otherwise, we're going to lose a sign, especially when we get to the second part of the distributive property here. So what I do is when it's a minus a number, I circle it and I think of distributing a negative. And that helps me to not lose a sign. So -3 times x is -3x. So I'm going to write that as -3x. And then I'm going to think of -3 times -5. I always take the sign in front. So -3 times -5 is actually +15, because negative times negative is positive. So now I've distributed, and I'm going to bring down the -2y. So now that I've distributed, I can actually start looking for like terms. So my first set of like terms is going to be my x terms. So I have 2x and -3x. So I'm going to go ahead and write those side by side. And then I have another set of like terms, which is +8 and +15. So I'm going to write those side by side as well. And then I'm going to bring down the -2y. It doesn't have a like term because there's no other terms that have the y variable. So once I'm finished with that, I can go ahead and combine my like terms. So 2x minus 3x, think of 2 minus 3, which is -1x. And now I'm going to combine the 8 plus the 15. 8 plus 15 is going to give me 23. And then I'm going to bring down the -2y. Now I'm just going to rewrite it. Typically you want your constants to come last. And since I have 1 here as a coefficient, I don't need it. I do need the negative sign, but I don't need the 1. So I'm going to rewrite this as -x minus 2y plus 23. Notice when I rewrote it, I took the sign in front when I moved it over next to the x. Same here, I took the plus with the 23. So you have to keep the signs and their numbers or their terms together in order to end up with the correct answer.